Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Burnt Pancakes podcast, where we take the chaos of motherhood and turn it into something relatable, laughable, and maybe even a little inspiring. I'm your host, Katie Fensky, and I'm here to remind moms that everyone burns their first pancake. So here we are, smack in the middle of the holiday season. I've got on my Mama Claus shirt, the house is decorated, we're all set. If you're anything like me, your to-do list is longer than your child's wish list. And the idea of taking care of yourself feels as unrealistic as a silent night. But here's the thing. We cannot pour from an empty cup, or in this case, a lukewarm coffee mug. Today's episode is all about realistic self-care during the holidays. The holidays can be stressful at times, and I have learned over the years, in order to actually enjoy the holidays as a mom, I have to put myself on the plate as well. If we're going to bring all of the magic to our family, we need to make sure we can actually function this month. So, I hope this short episode gives you a little inspiration and permission just to take care of yourself for a quick second before you tackle everything else on your holiday to-do list. So, first things first, let's ditch the idea that everything during the holidays needs to be perfect because, spoiler alert, perfection is actually impossible and you'll never get it. It's just a marketing scheme that convinces us to buy matching pajamas and make those handmade ornaments from scratch. But it's easy to get wrapped up in this. And sometimes we just need to step back and look at what this month is really about. For me, it's seeing joy, connecting with family, and making memories through the traditions that we have made. My kids will not remember the perfect gingerbread house that collapsed or if our lights are perfectly spaced out. Believe me, they really only care about how the gingerbread house tastes instead of how it looks. And they're just going to remember that we did it together. So this year, I sat back while my boys put up all the ornaments on our Christmas tree. I didn't worry that they were basically at like my 5-year-old's height all the way around the tree or that they weren't evenly spaced out. I actually just enjoyed the fact that they were doing it. And honestly, it's kind of a relief to not have a toddler anymore who will yank the ornaments off the tree. So I remember those years when we had all the ornaments way at the top so that our toddler wouldn't grab them. Gosh, I even think when Ronan was a baby, we put up like this giant baby gate to keep him from touching the tree. We're just not there anymore, which is kind of a relief. So no, the trick is to actually get my kids to help take down the ornaments after Christmas, but that's a different story. We'll deal with that in January. But for now, it was just like enjoying them doing it this year. It doesn't look perfect, but it's our family Christmas tree. So we're dropping perfection this year. Let's talk a little bit about what brings joy to the holidays for you. Is it baking cookies with your kids, or maybe watching holiday movies in your pajamas? Sometimes it's important to just to pick a few things that bring you joy and just focus on those. The rest you can just let go. I know it's hard to let go, but trust me, no one's going to care if the wreath on your door isn't perfect. Maybe if that's your thing, having like this beautifully decorated house and that brings you joy, then great. But if it's something that stresses you out, it's time to drop it. This year, I decided not to get the boys matching Christmas pajamas like I've done every year in the past. For one, I forgot to look a few months ago when they're actually in stock. And they were out, come December 1st when I thought about it. And it's just like something I didn't want to spend money on this year. I was feeling a little bit bad because I always get a picture of the boys in their matching pajamas on Christmas. But guess what? When I took out the Christmas boxes to decorate the house, I found a few sets. Like we always save the old ones and, pass them down to the next kid. Well, the ones we had from last year still fit all the boys. 2023, Katie was very wise. I ordered like 2 sizes bigger. They were big on them last year, but that meant they fit this year. So now I can still get my Christmas picture and I didn't have to stress about ordering them. It was just something that I wanted to take off my plate that just didn't matter this year. Now, self care is such a buzzword nowadays, but it is really important in maintaining your sanity. Self care during the holidays doesn't mean carving out an entire day for a spa trip, although that does actually sound fabulous. For most, it's just about finding just small, manageable ways to recharge yourself. So, here are a few that I've implemented this month, like super simple and easy, but things that will help me continue to find joy in the holidays, but also just give me a little boost of me time. So, having just a super simple morning ritual, it really can take just a few minutes. And I know some people are like, nope, I'm going to sleep until the alarm goes off as much as I can. Great. That brings you joy. Do that. For me, it's just finding a little bit of time when I can just be by myself. So in the mornings, after working out, so I go to the gym early just because I need to get it done when no one's awake. I purposely made my husband set the timer for our Christmas lights so that when I got back from my morning workout, they would be on. Because there's something about coming home to a dark house and seeing the Christmas lights that is just like a moment, like what do they call them? A glimmer, just like a sparkle during the holiday seasons. I have a few minutes before I have to wake the boys up to sip on some coffee on the couch, or lately I've just been reading my book, the one I got from the library. It's just a few minutes to just sit in the glow of the Christmas lights. It's not a whole bunch of time. I'm not doing like crazy meditation and then yoga and this. Like, I don't have time for that. But just a few minutes to cozy up on the couch to just sit by myself really starts my day off right and has kind of been like an extra special holiday gift to myself. Another thing I've been doing is little shopping breaks. So I turn mundane tasks like grocery shopping into like a little mini escape. I listen to either a holiday playlist or a podcast while I'm doing my grocery shopping. Now, I can say firsthand that now that the boys are in school, solo grocery shopping has become such a pleasant experience. And just throwing on a podcast or listening to some fun music while you shop is kind of a little treat for me now. Another super simple self care that I've been doing is in the evenings when the boys go to bed, I try and just treat myself a little bit. I love having candles on in the wintertime. We have candles above our fireplace. So once the boys are in bed, I like to turn down the lights, even if we're still watching TV. Turn down the lights and just light my candles. I personally love like a wintry, foresty, what Fraser fir. That one's my favorite. A candle that's scented. We've already gone through, I think, two scented candles just because I love having them lit all night long. I also generally don't really drink tea, but in December, I have like a wintry teapot and Christmas mugs. So putting just a little bit of hot tea, like I love like a cinnamon. I forget what it's called. There's one from Trader Joe's that I've been drinking lately. Ugh, I wish I had the name of it. But just something like holiday, just to sit, enjoy my candles, watch some TV. It's just a way to like treat myself in the evenings. So these like micro moments might seem small, but they really do add up. And they remind me that like I matter during the holidays too, even though it's crazy and busy and sometimes stressful, you can kind of recharge at those moments. Next, let's talk about setting boundaries. The holidays are full of extra obligations. So there's school performances, family gatherings, Secret Santa exchanges, teacher gifts, December birthdays, holiday parties. I know my husband we have a work Christmas thing on Thursday night, and then he has another one Friday night. There's just so much. But really, you don't have to say yes to everything. Or if it makes you happy to do it all, then do it. You know what your breaking point is. Some of you might feel overwhelmed looking at the calendar right now, while others might find like joy and excitement from seeing all those holiday events. So be honest with yourself. Like if it feels like too much, say it's too much. If it feels like I want to do it all, then do it all. Now, if you are feeling like it's overwhelming, you could try the 3 yes rule. So, this is just deciding on 3 key events or traditions that are the most meaningful to you and your family and say yes to those. So, an example of this. We had always gotten tickets to the Christmas train at a local park to visit Santa. So it was like a big deal. So if you live in Orange County, Irvine Park, does the Christmas train. And our whole family would go. Like I'd invite my mom and my uncle and my sister, like all of us. We'd go and watch the boys. And then we'd go out to like a fancy dinner afterwards. It was a tradition until last year when it just got way harder. Like, no joke, to get the tickets, you had to sit on the phone for like 3 hours. I'm not kidding. That's how crazy it was. So when I decided last year not to do it, initially I felt kind of bad, especially for Maverick, who's the youngest. And, he kind of like misses out on all this stuff because we've done it before. But the stress of having to get the tickets and pick a date that worked for everyone else, and, it's busy and crowded, it just felt like too much. So last year, we ended up going to a mall the week before Thanksgiving. We went literally the first day that Santa was there. And so for those of you in Orange County, we went to Fashion Island, which had the cutest Santa setup. It was adorable. And because we were there so early, like the first day, there was no line, and the boys got to spend extra time with Santa. Like, instead of just like, okay, on to the next, we were there for probably 10, 15 minutes. So the picture turned out super cute. And let's face it, that's really the only thing I'm there for, is to get the picture. They also have like a koi pond there that the boys were obsessed with. They could have stayed all day long trying to like touch the fish, even though the sign says do not touch a fish. My boys, you know, had their sleeves in the water. So after that, we went to Barnes and Noble. We got hot chocolate from the Starbucks there, and the boys got to look at the toys and the books there and add stuff to their Christmas list. It actually ended up being such a pleasant day. It didn't feel like we were missing out not going to the Christmas train. It was so much fun that this year, when I said, hey, we're going to visit Santa, the boys, the first thing they said was, can we go to the place with the fish? So in the end, we actually kind of started a new tradition, one that was way more doable, less stressful than getting those Santa tickets. And they just really liked it. So change is hard for me. That is something I've always, since I was a kid, change was hard. But in this case, it was like, this was a good change for us, a new tradition. Another example of the 3 yes rule came up about this weekend. So my friends are hosting a winter women's circle, and I really wanted to go. It sounded like it was going to be such a lovely celebration with local moms, and it would be a form of self-care for me. But this weekend is also super busy. So it was Maverick's birthday on Tuesday. He just turned 5. And because it was a school night, it's really hard to do like the family dinner. We always do a family dinner for their birthdays where my husband cooks spaghetti, and then we have my mom and my sister and my uncle over, and, we just do like a family dinner. In December, this is so hard. All these December birthdays and moms with December birthdays, this is so hard. But we also had this week my husband's work Christmas thing, which we got to take the boys to. And then he had a work Christmas party on today. He has it today, so he's not available. And then we have friends who are in town for just the weekend that we only get to see like once or twice a year. So it was like, we need to see them. So we're going to see them Sunday. So I had this, like, I really want to go to this thing, but I also need to make sure Maverick gets his birthday. So I ended up saying no to the circle. But in doing that, I actually felt kind of relieved because I knew Maverick would get his birthday. We didn't have to like change anything else. And I knew that they were still going to have these in the future. So I will be able to go when things are less busy. So initially I was like stressing about like, how am I going to do it all? And then once I said, hey, I just can't go to this year, it was kind of like a little bit of a relief. Now I don't have to cram too much in, and I don't know. Everyone's happy because I know I'm going to go to another one. Okay. Another thing you can do is just protect your time. So look at your calendar and just block off time for rest or just downtime. So treat it like any other commitment. It's not selfish to have boundaries. Sometimes they're necessary. You deserve to enjoy the holidays too. And like for me, what I'm doing is from from Christmas Eve all the way through New Year's, I'm just unplugging. I'm not doing any recordings. I'm not going to be doing any editing. I'm not doing any, even though I will probably feel like I need to write show notes. I need to upload this video. I'm going to probably stay off social media because we have family in town. We're going to be seeing my family before Christmas, and I just need a break. I just need to block off time. So, like, consciously or like setting that time like ahead of time. So not just like day of like, oh, I'm going to stay off social media, but just knowing like, okay, during that week, I'm just going to be present. And I've scheduled that in and I prepared for that. Like I'm making sure everything's ready so that when I come back January, well, my kids don't go back to school till like, oh my God, so late this year. But anyways, back in January, when I'm back on, um, I will have that break behind me and ready for a fresh start. Okay, we cannot survive the holidays without talking about holiday fails because honestly, they're inevitable. Your cookies are going to burn. The Christmas lights aren't going to work once you get them up on the house. Your toddler's going to scream during the Santa photos. And it's going to be both horrifying but hilarious. So here's the thing, these fails are often the moments that you're going to laugh out later. They become the stories that you tell year after year. I can still remember the day we went to the Christmas tree lighting in our town, only to find out when we got home that our Christmas tree had fallen over while we were gone. All the water spilled out. There were broken ornaments everywhere. But looking back, I mean, at that moment, it was like, oh my God, what just happened? It looked like someone broke into our house. But I mean, looking back now, we can laugh about it. Last year, we ordered our Christmas cards. We were like kind of in a rush to get them out, like every year, trying to come up with our idea, and it just takes us forever. But we didn't realize that when we ordered them, we ordered the wrong size. So when they came in the mail, they were much larger than like your traditional 5x7. I think they were like 8x10s. They were huge. I bet we were rushing. We just like clicked the wrong box or we just didn't check the size. Well, the other day I was taking out all of our old cards. So we like to hang them in our house. So like our very first card all the way till last year's, we hang them up so we can see them. And it was just kind of funny. Like it was too late to order new ones and they're too expensive to order another set. So we sent out our giant cards. But we just laughed when we hung it up this year and we're like, oh, remember last year our Christmas poster that we sent out to everyone. So I don't know. When things go sideways, you just kind of have to take a breath, find humor in it because laughter is free therapy. And it's just the best way to take care of yourself to find humor in most of these situations. Okay, this next one is going to be hard, but another way to survive the holidays is to ask for help. You don't have to do the holidays alone. I know asking for help can feel hard, but it is like it's something that is going to help you get through. And it's giving someone else the opportunity to contribute. So, something you can do is delegate tasks. So, ask your partner or your spouse to take charge of some of the holiday shopping. My husband is super involved. Like he's the one that has the list on his phone of like which gifts we've gotten, which ones we still need to get. So, I feel very fortunate about that. Ask your kids to help with gift wrapping. It's not going to look perfect, but at least they're contributing as well. You can assign people to bring dessert or bring wine or bring the things that you can't do to Christmas dinner. Now, I've actually decided, so we've never done the Elf on the Shelf. I already knew that is too much for me. I can't. Um, or I thought like this will be fun one year, but then you have to do it every single year. But what I have decided is that once Ronan stops believing in Santa, which I think is coming, I'm going to just put him in charge of it. Like that will be the time that we get the Elf on the Shelf is when he can like move it for us. He can be in charge of remembering. This also I think would be a fun way for him to still be part of like the magic once he's not a believer. So delegating tasks. Another thing you can do is just share the workload. Maybe swap a babysitting with a friend. So, like, you watch my kids this afternoon so I can wrap presents while they're not home, and then I'll watch yours the next day. Also, just using services. So, having a cleaning lady if you can, doing like a grocery store delivery or pre made meals. These aren't failures, they're a way of surviving life. So, we're actually a big fan of a company called Factor. They they just delivered as we were recording on my doorstep. This is not an ad. This is something that we actually use. So my husband started ordering these pre-made dinners last football season, like 2 years ago. And they're just so nice. They get delivered to your door once a week and they're like healthy TV dinners. So it just really makes the evenings easier because I just pull something together for the kids because really that's all they eat is like a snack plate. And then Jake and I have our dinners covered. So in a nutshell, it's okay to get help this holiday season. So, the holidays do not have to be perfect to be magical. The greatest gift you can give your family is just to be happy, to be present, um, and to like experience the joy with them. So, this season, I am asking you, or I'm demanding, I'm telling you to take care of yourself. All right. Thank you for listening to this very short episode. It's the holidays, so I've got stuff to do, but I wanted to make sure I connected with you today. If this episode resonated with you, I would love it if you shared it with another mom who could use some holiday cheer. And remember, the pancakes and the holidays don't need to be perfect, they just need to be enjoyed. So until next time, take care of yourself, laugh at the little things, and remember that everyone burns their first pancake or Christmas cookie. So just keep flipping.